Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So I alluded to this yesterday on our live stream, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, so make sure you check us out. But this is Terence Crawford's tweet in regards to Canelo Alvarez. Now, Terence Crawford has been trying to drum up interest relative to a fight with Canelo Alvarez. I'm of the opinion that the performance from Jermell Charlo has damaged that fight permanently or maybe temporarily. It really depends on what Terence Crawford does next. Now, it's my opinion that most people are not going to be interested in seeing a fighter move up 3 weight classes when we just saw another fighter move up 2 weight classes and put on a terrible performance. Now, Terence Crawford, in my personal opinion, would do much better than Jermell Charlo. I think he would be competitive in this fight. But ultimately, I personally believe that he's not going to win this particular fight. But that has not stopped Terence Crawford from trying to generate interest in regards to this fight. And why would he stop? This is the biggest money fight that he could possibly make currently in the sport, although I don't believe there's any reason for Canelo to make the fight currently. Now, what Terence Crawford recently did on a tweet is he pulled an AM Sports media move. See, typically I like to use other people's words against them. That's the type of thing that I like to do on this platform in terms of just debating the boxing topics and things of that nature. It's nothing personal. It's just something that I do. Well, Terence Crawford attempted to do the same thing against Canelo Alvarez, essentially using words that Canelo has said in the past against him. Now, the operative word in what I said there was attempted. He attempted to do so. I am going to read a tweet from Terence Crawford, and then I'm going to actually play the video that Terence Crawford referenced. And personally, I think this is a nice try by Terence Crawford. I think he was fairly slick in his attempt here, but his logic has one flaw in it. And it's interesting. The gentleman that actually posted this, I think Terence Crawford might have been copying his tweet. I'm not sure, but I've actually had some interactions with him on Twitter. He's quite a irrational guy, if you will. But I'm not going to call out his name and give him any shine. But let's go ahead and play this segment. And I'm also going to read Terence Crawford's tweet because it's interesting. And it's a good attempt by Terence Crawford. He says, LOL. What's y'all thoughts on Canelo saying he can't make a fight with Spence at 160, but for me, he say I can't make the weight, wouldn't make a difference, just a thought, with a laughing emoji. So let me play this clip from Fight Hub.
Let me ask you this too, Canelo. I spoke to Errol Spence last week and even prior, and he's serious about wanting a fight with you, and he feels Canelo versus Spence, 120,000 people in AT&T Stadium. Is that a fight that you're interested in, that you want to pursue, and do you think that can happen?
No, pues obviamente es una pelea interesante. Errol Spence es un gran peleador. Obviamente si quiere subir de peso, pues ¿por qué no? Se podría hacer esa pelea. Si se siente muy seguro de eso, pues podría pasar. Es una pelea grande.
Well, obviously, it's a very interesting fight. If Errol Spence is a great fighter, and obviously if he wants to go up in weight, then that would be a big fight.
So it couldn't happen at 160. You can't. That's not a fight that you think would be big enough for you to be able to move down to 160. It would have to be at 168.
No, en peso medio todavía podemos hacerlo y claro que sí, podríamos pelear en la 160.
Middleweight, yeah, that's something that we can still do. So yes, we could go down to 160.
Let me ask you.
All right. So that was an interesting comment from Canelo Alvarez. And the issue with that video is when you look at the video appears to be old. It looks like it's 2 to 3 years old. Now, that's part of the issue that I have when people are trying to use these types of videos, because number one, Terence Crawford changes his mind regularly and no one seems to have an issue with that. At least his fans don't have an issue with that. But number two, in this particular case, I believe this video is fairly old just by the way that Canelo looks, the fact that Canelo has no beard, no facial hair. In my opinion, the video looks old. Now, let me play a video from let me see. This is a video from a year ago where it says Canelo versus Bivol in the background. So this is now a full-fledged Canelo at 168. I believe that video was 2 or 3 years old, where Canelo was probably closer to 160 or had just left the 160-pound division. And so he may be more willing to attempt a fight at 160. But let's hear what he had to say just a year ago when he was attempting to defeat Dimitri Bivol at 175.
I don't want to do things like that, right? In cash weight 164, why me? I don't need to do that.
Okay, what if it's at 60?
168.
Canelo,
I don't need to do anything like that.
Now, this is in regards to Canelo Alvarez facing Terence Crawford. You can find this very video on FightHub.com or Fight Hub's channel on YouTube. This is a year ago. So Canelo has been consistent, at least for the last year, that he is not interested in going down and fighting anybody at 160. He doesn't have to do that for anybody. He's going to fight them at 168 if they want to fight him. Well, he is correct. He is still generally the face of boxing. He does not have to move down to 160 pounds to face Terence Crawford. I think that this was Terence Crawford's attempt to get Canelo to think about fighting him at 160 pounds, trying to drum up interest, trying to maybe put a little pressure. Because I think it's possible that Terence Crawford saw Canelo Alvarez not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before last. And that didn't quite look like the faded Canelo Alvarez that we had all been hearing about, right? The narrative that had been put out there for a while. And so because of that, Terence is like, maybe 168 isn't the right move for me. Maybe I need him at 160. So let me go ahead and throw this narrative out there. Hey, you said you would face Errol Spence at 160. Why not fight me at 160? And again, I think that's a slick move by Terence Crawford. I'm not knocking Terence Crawford for that move. I think that's a valiant attempt to actually use his words against him. But what I would warn Terence Crawford of is the guy that he pulled that information from. That guy is notorious for taking comments out of context, and then when faced with reality and the truth, disappears. So if I were you, Bud, I would not quote any more tweets from that gentleman unless you've already done your research in regards to what he's saying. So those are my thoughts on that. I don't believe Canelo Alvarez is being inconsistent in terms of what it is that he wants. He's not going to fight anybody at 160, and he's been saying that for at least the last year. As a matter of fact, let me look up the date on this video. This video was actually published on May 4th, 2022, so a little over a year. So you guys tell me in the comment section what you think in regards to this. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and I am